Tropicana removed the orange with a straw from its carton, and customers thought the brand had disappeared. Yikes. Sales dropped fast, and they reversed the redesign within weeks. $50 million down the drain. Here's what they didn't see coming. This is not a story about a bad design team. This is a story about a positioning blind spot. Tropicana confused looking modern with being recognized, and recognition is the doorway to trust. I'm Magnus Rushitz, a strategic marketing consultant and creator of the Blind Spot diagnostic system. For 3 years, I was the national marketing manager for Spa, responsible for more than 80 retail stores. And if there's one thing I know, it's shelf life is real estate. Space is gold. And shoppers do not browse, they scan. In this episode, I'm going to show you what Tropicana changed, the exact moment it started unraveling, the core blind spot, and the checks that could have prevented it. Tropicana wanted to modernize. The old pack had a cue that did a lot of heavy lifting. The orange with the straw, it acted like a shortcut in your brain. You did not have to read anything, you recognized it. The redesign replaced that cue with a glass of juice, changed the typography, and shifted the hierarchy on the front of the pack. On a design deck, it looked clean and premium. On a shelf, it looked like a whole new product. That is the first principle here. Packaging is not decoration. Packaging is a recognition system. The moment it started unraveling was not the sales report. Well, at least not immediately, because we all know how massive the decline was. It was the aisle moment. People stood in front of the shelf and could not find the brand they had bought for years. Some assumed it was discontinued. Ouch! Can you imagine how crushing that would have been for loyal customers? Others grabbed a competitor product because, well, juice is a habit purchase. And if you interrupt that habit, you lose the sale. When customers cannot locate you in seconds, you do not just lose their attention, you lose trust. And that is why this hit Tropicana so quickly. Here's the core blind spot I want you to remember. They removed an equity cue that carried recognition. Everything else cascaded from that decision. They optimized for internal approval, design, taste, and what looked modern. But they did not protect the cue that made the brand easy to find. They made a loyal product harder to recognize in the one place recognition is most important. This is what positioning drift looks like. The brand is still there, but the meaning is harder to access. Here are 4 practical tools you can apply before any packaging change, rebrand, or repositioning. The first tool, 2-second recognition test. Print the current pack and the proposed pack. Put them on a shelf with 5 competitors. Even if it is a mock shelf at the office, ask 10 people who actually buy the category to find your product in under 2 seconds. If they hesitate, you have a recognition problem. If loyal buyers hesitate, you have an equity problem. The second tool, the equity cue inventory. List 3 to 5 assets that people use to recognize you. This could be a color, a shape, an icon, a word mark, or the layout. Then mark each one as either sacred, flexible, or replaceable. If the proposed design removes a sacred cue, you either keep it or you replace it with something equally distinctive and test it. The third tool is the shelf reality check. Design approval happens in quiet rooms. Buying happens in noisy environments. So test the design where decisions are actually happening. Ask, will this still work at a distance, at speed, under bad lighting, while someone is tired and distracted? If the answer is no, it is not ready. The fourth tool, the transition plan. If you must change a major cue, do not make it a sudden swap. Create continuity. You can run a staged rollout, keep a familiar element for a period, or use on-pack messaging that signals same product, new look. You're not being cautious, you're protecting mental availability. A smarter strategy could have modernized around the recognition cue, not replaced it. Tropicana could have refreshed typography, layout, and premium signals while keeping the orange with a straw as the anchor, or they could have tested a new anchor until recognition held. We don't know, we're not in the room, but this is the point. Modernizing is not the problem. Removing what made you recognizable is the problem. If you want to diagnose your own blind spot, start with the free blind spot audit. It will help you identify where your positioning is strong and where recognition, trust, or clarity are slipping. Before you go, I want you to reflect on this and leave a comment below. What is the one asset in your brand that you would never touch because it carries recognition? If you don't know what it is, it's time to understand the visual cues by asking your customers. Subscribe for more episodes of What They Didn't See Coming, and a reminder that What They Didn't See Coming videos are for educational and commentary purposes only. All facts are drawn from publicly available sources credited in the video or the description. All my analysis is professional opinion, and this content is not sponsored, endorsed, or affiliated with any brand mentioned. See you next time.